guys, it's Arielle. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you're all doing well. Today's video is going to be the complete guide to Christmas in Paris. The point of today's video is to tell you the location, the price, the dates, the times of every single Christmas and holiday themed event happening in Paris all through the month of December. This is not going to be a vlog style video. It's definitely going to be direct and informational. I am going to include clips of all of these events and activities so you can sort of see the vibe, but this isn't a vlog. I will be doing vlogs with Jean where we'll actually go and test the food, test the experience, and give our opinions, show you what it's like to actually go to these places. But those will be vlogs throughout the month of December. The reason why I want to make this right now at the start is to give you a really good idea of everything that you can do and how to sort of plan your time if you're visiting Paris for the holidays. Now, before we get into today's video, I have to say, if you enjoy my content, if you find it helpful, then I would very much appreciate it if you could like this video and subscribe. I'm not gonna lie, it definitely breaks my heart when I look at my analytics and I see that 80% of people who watch my videos aren't subscribed. I don't know why. I put so much work into my channel and into these videos. You guys mean so much to me, and it would just be so helpful to me if you liked the video and subscribed. I think it's a small and free way to help out a creator that you enjoy watching. So if that's you, I would appreciate it. Now, without further ado, let's get into today's video. All the events that we're going to talk about today can be broken down into 5 categories that I'll leave timestamp below. Category number 1 is Christmas markets. Category number 2 are decorations and light routes that you can walk for free. Number 3 are the department stores and all the events that they have planned during the holidays. 4 are the light walks through different parks in Paris. And number 5 are the skating rinks. Let's start with the most fabulous, the Christmas markets. There are 6 Christmas markets that are ongoing throughout Paris during the holidays. I mean, there are more, but some Christmas markets only last a day or a weekend. The 6 that I want to cover are ongoing for the entire month of December, and they are, of course, all free to visit. The most famous of these markets is, of course, going to be the Tuileries Garden Christmas Market, which is located right in the center of Paris. This market is on every day from November 15th to January 4th from 11 a.m. to 11:45 p.m. A quick note that on Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, the market closes at 7:30 p.m. I would describe this Christmas market as medium-sized. It does get very, very busy on the weekends and in the evenings. If you're looking for the least crowded time, I would try to go either during the day or on Monday and Tuesday evening. This market is quite similar to a carnival or a fair, as there's lots of rides and games that you can pay to play. There's a Ferris wheel and a mini skating rink, as well as a lot of different foods and snack booths. I personally have enjoyed the roasted chestnuts and the restaurants at the very back of the market, which have fireside seating. While I think this market is very commercial and I wouldn't personally do any shopping here, I do think that it makes for a nice evening where you can enjoy a festive dinner, mulled wine, and play a game or two. The second most popular, certainly among residents and families in and around Paris, is the Christmas market at La Défense. This market is located quite a bit outside of the city center, but it's very easy to access by either taking Metro Line 1 or the RER. Getting here can actually be quite fast and is really very easy. This market is open from mid-November to December 28. On Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, it's open from 11 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. On Thursday, it's open from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Friday, it's open 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. Saturday, it's open from 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. And Sunday, it's open from 11 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. A quick note that the market closes at 6 p.m. on Christmas Eve and is closed on Christmas Day. This market is very similar to the one that's located in the Tuileries Garden that we just talked about, in that there's a very similar offering of food, activities, and shopping, but there really is no denying that this is much bigger. I almost got lost my first time going. There are so many sections and vendors. It'll take you a lot longer to go through by comparison, and I would definitely make sure that you check out the map of this market before going so you don't end up running around like a chicken with your head cut off like me. The downside to this market, I would say, is that La Défense does not have the same architectural charm as Paris. You are very much surrounded by office buildings and modern towers here, so it kind of takes you out of the vibe. Although I would imagine that if you were to come here at night when you couldn't see the buildings and the market was lit up, it would be a lot more magical. I think this market is great for families that live in or around Paris and are looking for something fun to do on an evening or a weekend. I'm not sure that if you're just coming to Paris for a week, I would necessarily recommend that you come all the way out of your way to go to this market. Number 3, we have the Montmartre Christmas market, which is located in the 18th and right beside the metro station Abbesse. This market is on from November 21 to January 3rd and is open from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Note that they don't have any information about the hours of operation for Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, or New Year's Eve. This market is very, very small by comparison. If I had to guess, I'd say there are maybe 15 vendors. I think this is a nice addition to your plans in Paris if you're already visiting the 18th, but since it's so small, I don't think I would plan my entire day around this market. Now, just a little clarification for you on my end, because this market was advertised as 100% made in France. And you know me, you know I love artisanally made products, so I was very excited for this market. And so I was deeply surprised and kind of annoyed actually when the first stand I went to, I flipped over the tag and it was very clearly not made in France. And not that there's anything wrong with that, like it's totally fine to make your products elsewhere, but I do think that it's very misleading to market a market as artisanal and 100% French when that's just not the case. I would say 70% of the vendors were definitely selling things that were not from France. That said, there were a couple booths that definitely were handmade and French products. You had a champagne bar, a mulled wine station, there was a woman selling her handmade jewelry, and then actually a fourth booth that I went up and talked to. His name is Raphael, because he was the only vendor with a made in France handmade sign like right in the front of his stand. And so I was like, did you know that this was supposed to be like 100% made in France? And he didn't even know that was how this market was being advertised. But I thought I would just shout him out quickly because he sells his paintings at this market, as well as these really beautiful hand-painted enamel ornaments that his sister-in-law makes. There was also a macaroon stand, which were, of course, made in France. So yeah, I just thought I would mention that because I was definitely deceived. I thought it would be bigger. I thought there would be more artisans, more creators, and that just really was not the case. The fourth Christmas market that you can visit is right beside Notre-Dame. Specifically, this market is set up on the Square René Viviani, which is on the left bank of the Seine opposite Notre-Dame. It's open from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day and until 9 p.m. on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Even though this market is quite small, you can sense immediately that the vast majority of vendors are selling products that are artisanally made. Second to last, we have the Saint-Germain-des-Prés Christmas market located in the 6th. This one is on from November 25th to January 1st from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. every day. Aside from its central location, this market is the least appealing in my opinion. It's located right beside a very busy and loud main road, which takes away a lot of the charm, and there weren't as many artisans at this market compared to the one by Notre-Dame, for example. And finally, we have the Christmas market at La Villette, which is a part of Paris that is really growing on me. This market is located in the 19th arrondissement at the Parc de la Villette, so it is a ways away outside of the city center. The hours of operation are all over the place. It's open Monday and Tuesday from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m., Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m., Thursday from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., Friday and Saturday from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m., and Sunday from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. And just a quick note that on Christmas Eve, everything closes at 4. I'm not exaggerating when I say that I think this Christmas market was the best I have ever been to. It was spectacularly, beautifully charming with all of the lights, the fireside seating, the log cabins, the Christmas trees. I was in total awe the entire time. I also loved every booth I came across. All of the products were very clearly artisanal, handmade, authentic, and there were even some antique booths selling vintage dishware and decorations. I loved it. It was right up my alley. Jean and I will definitely be back. There were also so many food stands. It was hard to even pick what we wanted to snack on, so we don't really have a choice other than to come back several more times. The only downside to this market, I will say, is that for people who are just visiting Paris and have a limited amount of time in the city, I can understand that coming all the way out to the 19th would be a little bit annoying, but it's well worth it in my opinion. Moving on to our next category, which are all the lights and decorations that you can see for free around Paris. I've actually created 2 different walking routes for you, which I thought would be useful. That way you can connect all the little dots and sort of make an evening out of it, I will put maps on screen to show you exactly where we are in Paris. For the first route, you'll start at the Place Vendôme in the first arrondissement, which has a lot of beautiful garlands and Christmas trees. From there, you can walk down the Rue Saint-Honoré, which has all these big, beautiful bows that hang above you as you walk. If you follow the Rue Saint-Honoré, it will lead you to the Place Maurice Barrès. Here you have the snow globe stand where you can take a really pretty holiday picture, as well as the Dior and Chanel stores, which are always decorated for the holidays. Keep walking down the Rue Saint-Honoré and you'll pass the Longchamp store, which is also very beautifully decorated with snowflakes. You'll finally arrive at the Place de la Madeleine, and the trees that are right in front of this church are decorated with twinkling lights and bows. It is so magical. To the left of the church, you have the Village Royal, which unfortunately closes at 8 p.m., so keep that in mind. From this point, we're going to walk down the street opposite the church, which is called the Rue Royale, and from here you can take a right and walk straight up the Champs-Élysées, where the entire street is lined with Christmas lights. And just a quick note that every 30 minutes the lights sparkle and it is very beautiful. From the Champs-Élysées, you can walk down the Avenue Montaigne, which is my favorite street. I think that the lights here almost look like snow covering the tree branches. On the street, you have all the luxury stores that are decorated for the holidays, and you'll also probably want to stop in front of Dior, as they always have the most extravagant and festive setup. As you walk down this road, you'll get closer and closer to the Eiffel Tower. So that was our first route. It covers all of the main decorations in the city center. The second route I want to give you is through the Passage de Paris, which are the covered shopping arcades, and they are always dressed up for the holidays. You can start your walk at the Passage du Grand Cerf in the second arrondissement, and from here you can walk about 15 minutes to the Galeries Vivienne, also in the second. This is probably the most elegant of the Passage in my opinion. It's a great place to come for pictures. From the Galeries Vivienne, you are a 5-minute walk from the Passage Choiseul, and then you can walk 10 minutes to the Passage des Panoramas, which isn't the most festive for sure, but it will lead you to the Passage Geoffroy, which is. And in the Passage Geoffroy, you also have the Maison du Roi, which is a fabulous store to go into for hand-painted ornaments. Now, there is one final spot that I didn't cover on my routes, and that is the Place Suisse, which is a festive area for food and drinks right across from the Eiffel Tower. It's a bit confusing, but in order to get to the Place Suisse, you have to walk past the hundreds of people taking pictures of the Eiffel Tower, down the stairs, and to the left into the gardens. This is one of my favorite places to come in the winter. It is so beautiful. It's truly the most spectacular view, and not very well known, so it's never crowded. I'll also add that the mulled wine is quite affordable at €6 a glass. Moving on to department stores, there are 3 that I want to share. We of course have to start with the Printemps Haussmann, which this year is New York themed. You can come to the Printemps department store to admire their window display, which I thought was the cutest of them all, and it's really great that they have an elevated platform for kids so they can see right up close. Then, if you take the stairs all the way up to the 7th floor of the women's department, you of course have a phenomenal view of the Eiffel Tower, but also there's a free skating rink. All you have to do is reserve your time slot online for free, and your reservation also comes with skates, so you don't have to worry there. Once you've done a couple spins around, you can take off your skates and relax with a hot chocolate at the Ferrero Rocher Cafe. Next up, we of course have the iconic Galeries Lafayette, which is actually only a 2-minute walk from Printemps, so it's very easy to combine both of these in the same day. Inside the Galeries Lafayette, you have their Christmas tree, which changes every year, and it's always so interesting to see what new idea they've come up with. And if you want to get extra close to the tree or just take some cute festive photos, you can also do their glass walk, which is completely free. You just have to reserve a time slot online in advance. Then, if you take the escalators up to the 7th floor, you have a rooftop view of all of Paris. However, this is important. As of December 1st, the rooftop will be transformed into a skating rink, so I'm not so sure that you can actually come up here to see the view. You can, however, book a time slot to skate. It is €16 per adult and €7.50 per child, and the skate rental is included in the price. And finally, we have the Bon Marché and La Grande Épicerie, which are located on the left bank of the Seine in the 7th. Le Bon Marché is the department store, and La Grande Épicerie is the very famous grocery store, and both are decorated to the nines for the holidays. In La Grande Épicerie, you have the most fabulous display truck with every French advent calendar imaginable. Then, if you cross over to the Bon Marché, you'll see their Christmas decor, and on every floor, there's a Christmas-themed section where you can do some shopping. I personally love the 2nd floor that has an endless amount of beautiful Paris and French-themed Christmas ornaments. Now, our second to last category is the different light walks that you can do in 3 different parks in Paris. The first of these parks is called the Jardin des Plantes, which are the botanical gardens on the left bank of the Seine in the 5th. Every evening from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. you can be swept away in their light show, which is called the Lumière de la Nature, or Lights of Nature in English. This event is 21 euros per adult and 13 per child, and you have to reserve your tickets in advance online. The second light walk is located at the Parc Floral in the 12th arrondissement. This event is ongoing from the 19th of November to the 11th of January, and you can visit anytime between 5 and 10 p.m. Tickets are 13 euros per adult and 11 for children, and you can reserve your spot online in advance. This year's light show is enchanted themed and does include Christmas elements like the North Pole and polar bears. And the last light walk / light show is located at the Parc de Saint-Cloud. This event is on now until January 11th from 5 to 11 p.m. and tickets cost between 20 and 24 euros depending on the date that you choose. This is a very beautiful light show / event. The shows and experiences are very well thought out. There's also a food court, so you really can come for dinner and a show. And lastly, I want to talk about skating rinks in Paris. Actually, there's only one that I want to talk about because, yes, there is the skating rink at the Grand Palais again. You can buy your tickets and you can go. I don't think I can talk about that rink in good faith to anyone. Like, I just cannot recommend it. If you were following on last year, you would know that I broke my hand skating at this rink. I think it is incredibly dangerous to skate here, to bring kids here. Like, there's no denying it's beautiful, it's very festive, but I just know it's not worth breaking a bone to skate in the Grand Palais. So that is an option. We're not going to talk about it. What we are going to talk about is the outdoor skating rink at the Parc André Citroën in the 15th. This rink is 600 meters squared and is open from November 22nd to January 4th. Tickets are 12 euros for adults and 9 for kids, and the price includes your skate rental. If you're hungry after your skate, there are also food stalls on site. And there we have it. That is your complete guide to Christmas in Paris. I hope this video was useful. I hope it gave you some great new ideas for how to spend your time if you're visiting for the holidays. Again, if you liked this video, if you like my channel, I would be so appreciative if you subscribed. I hope you have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys in the next one.